Hello and welcome back to the Ottoman Piracy Challenge. This is part 11. Where we left off in the previous episode is we were at war with Denmark. We still are actually, in fact, at war with Denmark. And we've already taken all of the ships that we could, basically. They're all, of course, being shipped over to our allied city of Hanoi, where they will be repaired and then sent back into conflict. Unfortunately for us, and good for Greece, Greece has declared war on Denmark while we have also been at war with Denmark, and they are about to piggyback off of us, which is bad for us, but might be fortuitous for us actually, considering we might be able to snipe these cities from them with our caravels, meaning that whenever they take down the cities in health, we can just swoop in and steal the city, basically. And that might be a fortuitous thing for us to do. Right, so, of course I would end up burning the cities down. They do have access to spices, which we might not have access to, actually. Okay, we do, so that's a moot point. We will be bombarding Danish units quite extensively. Of course, we're keeping an eye out over here for any Danish units that come out of Copenhagen or Copenhagen. And we will be sending back our units that are damaged from the western front over here near Hanoi. We still are at war with Kiev, although Kiev has very rarely sent its ships out to attack us. We are working on the World's Fair, and the World's Fair is already almost 50% complete. We hope that we will win, but we're not exactly sure if that's a possibility or if that's just a pipe dream. So, without further ado, let's continue where we left off. And like I said, we will be piggybacking off of Greece, or rather they will be piggybacking off of us, but we might be able to snipe their units as soon as they damage them enough after attacking. Right, so Hanoi, we've lost some influence there, that's fine. Just pay a little bit more to get back that influence, that's good. Let's go ahead and work on what will be the most important thing that we can make here. I'm thinking probably either a Colosseum or a lighthouse. Of course, lighthouse would be nice because we have some fish in the vicinity. Although a workshop would also be nice. We don't have a lot of production in the city, so we're going to go with a workshop. And we're also going to buy a workboat as well. Very, very nice. Where is this frigate? Alright, so we're going to be healing all of these damaged units, as I have said previously. With no exception, they will all be healed. And no Danish units as of yet, quite surprisingly. We will, of course, be keeping our eye on them. And also bombarding anything we can at this point. I'll be moving this frigate down here to the south, just so we have more fire support. And we can also perhaps even pillage these tiles over here. I will be moving this frigate to the north to attack more Danish units. And this guy down here, we can keep him here, that's fine. Like I said, I need to be within striking distance of either Addis-Ababa or Harrar in case if Greece is able to take any of these cities. So to that end, I'll be putting my Ottoman caravel here. It'll give us a very good position to snipe any city that we can. Of course, we'll be pillaging any tiles. We only get 6 measly gold out of it, so that's unfortunate, of course, but certainly better than nothing. Right, so this frigate is ready to go back into war. It's fully healed. These units will be ready to go back into war very soon as we heal them up. And let's take a look at our spies. We have 5 more turns until we gather intelligence off of Indonesia. That's very, very good. What's not good is that we have an undefended Great Admiral. We will be moving him. And Greece is a good candidate for us to attack. Either that or Indonesia in the future. I think we might attack Indonesia, actually, as they seem to have naval units out and about, and not a very large contiguous land empire in which to assault us with infantry. We do have, of course, an unworked fish tile down here as well, so we will be buying some work boats. Really anywhere that there is a fish tile to be worked, we will be buying work boats. Looks like that concludes... Oh, we got a place over here in Samson as well. And as soon as Samson is actually able to trade with the main capital, with the harbor, we will be reaping in a lot more money. So that's good. We're going to end our turn now to see what Greece plans on doing with Denmark. A friendly trade route was plundered. That's fine, not a big deal. It wasn't even our trade route either, so that's even better. We will, of course, be plundering these various trade nodes outside of Copenhagen and other cities. It does heal us, which is really, really good. I just realized that. So, once again, we are healing our units, sending out workboats. And what else can we do? That's about it for the time being. My units will be available to strike, once again, any unit that comes outside of its range. We do have a Danish caravel over here, which is actually really, really good news. We can bombard it and hopefully take it. We were not able to take it, but still, that gives us more progress towards a Great Admiral, so that's a good thing. We will, of course, be canvassing out the ocean to see if we can find more Danish naval units, I should say. And in the meantime, we'll also be bombarding Danish workers, because why not? Right, so far Greece is throwing their men into Addis Ababa. We will be standing back and watching with bated breath, while we also send out our frigate, who is outside of the city, along with the other frigates. And I'm probably going to do a quick run-by through Kiev on our way over there. We do, of course, need more naval units to have a chance at completing this challenge. And it's a shame we weren't able to capture the caravel. I think the percentage chance of us stealing units goes down over time. I remember it was 66% with triremes, but with more modern units, I think it's down to even 44%. So, no new news here. We're still allied with 2 city-states, and I'm thinking about expanding our alliance web. Our web of alliances, of course, very firmly allies with Samarkand here. So that Samson has a harbor, and they can trade with us. We will be making, let's see, what would be the most useful thing out of here. Probably a library. Well, most definitely a library, actually. And in Istanbul, a factory would be the most useful building for us to build. That has been redundant, I guess. We're going to go with coastal raiding. As soon as we get steam power, we need ships that are going to be powerful enough to take cities. And we plan on doing that, actually, as well. So, of course, Honolulu has settled, or rather, Hawaii has settled yet another city. But that's okay, because we have our design on a city up here to the north, with an absolute abundance of salt resources that we already have, but still salt is a very, very useful tile. Of course, it also has access to fish, iron, and stone, so we will be building a city there if we can. So now we're going to be sending units back into the front, since they are fully healed. And like I said, we will be attacking Indonesia, more than likely, pretty soon. Unfortunately, we've lost the alliance of Hanoi, but that's fine. We can very easily do that to regain the alliance. And I'm thinking about putting a spy in one of those cities, just so we don't lose another alliance. Of course, we got a privateer outside of Kiev. I'm seeing if I can bait it. I certainly hope I can. We're going to put our unit there just to see if we can. And besides that, Greece still very much surrounding Denmark. And Denmark very foolhardily is sending out a great general through the contested sea lanes, which we will very easily destroy. There is a... Hold on. There's a trade... Okay. It's a Polynesian cargo ship. I was going to say, usually you could be able to pillage that, but because it belongs to Polynesia, we can't. So we are going to ignore it for the time being. Denmark actually has more fishing boats that we can pillage, so that's great. while we construct our own fishing boats. And a city-state has declared war on a city-state. Interesting. I think we are outside of range of Copenhagen. We are. That's very, very good. Of course, now Denmark has access to Norwegian ski infantry. We'll see if they actually use them. That's a very funny unit, in my opinion. Right, so, with that being said, we're still working on the World's Fair. We're 63% of the way there. Very, very nice. Of course, Makassar. Everything's going to plan here. We're working on more coal and working on more fishing ships as well. Like so. And if we do declare war on Greece, we will of course need to have units over here in Bursa, which will be important. How many people are trading with our capital? That's what I'm wondering. We have Greece, the Ottomans, Poland, and Indonesia trading with us. I believe most of these trade routes are actually coming from us, so I'll need to be rerouting them when we declare war in Indonesia. But like I said, I won't be declaring war on Indonesia until Denmark is liquidated from the game. So, just like I had expected, Kiev did not send out its privateer, unfortunately. We will try to goad them into fighting us here in just a second by sending some units around to see if they have any other ships in the vicinity. It doesn't look like they do. Maybe I can goad them into attacking us. I certainly hope we can. A lot of great generals outside of Kopang. We will be bombarding them mercilessly, while also sending, or rather relieving, our caravels outside of the city of Addis Ababa. Right, so far so good. Of course, I will be bombarding the crap out of any Danish unit that shows its face, and there are quite a few of them, so I'll be taking those out. Poor Denmark is just absolutely in a bad situation right now, no question about that. And Denmark is able to destroy the Greek invasion force that landed on their island. However, Greece still has a relatively sizable navy. So if you were to attack Greece, we would run into some problems, which is unfortunate. So like I said, we're going to be preserving the blockade over here. And to that end, we will be keeping our ships just slightly out of range. So we're going to be ending our turn once again. Alexander has become a nuisance, one that can only be dealt with through war. Yes, 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 and yes. Give us 10 turns to prepare. Very, very good. We will definitely take that alliance. Most definitely. So, your caravel was bombarded by an enemy crossbowman. Interesting development, of course. We do have a Kievan privateer that is within the range to be shot at, which is really, really good. We're going to go with Coastal Raider once again, for good measure. And we're going to be taking out, or at least trying to take out, this privateer down here. We are slightly out range, but that's okay. Sending, of course, all of our naval forces over to Alexander in a premeditated act of violence, or at least we hope, anyways. Right, so this worker over here we can send to Istanbul. And can't really quite cap Harrar yet. We hope that perhaps Denmark will be weakened by more Greek frigates. I certainly hope they will be. But getting out of the matter of hand, we do have a Kievan privateer that we might be able to capture. It's a 42% chance. The only problem is, of course, we don't have all of our units ready to take it. Excuse me. So, with that being said, we can try to damage it a bit, but I don't want to damage it too much, because then it won't attack me. So I'll be pulling back the wounded unit to go north into Hanoi. Everything is going to plan here, which is very, very good. So now we have both ships, both caravels, ready to strike Addis Ababa if necessary, while also striking at Kopang. Of course, Kopang has a cargo ship, which is interesting news for us. So we're going to be plundering that trade node. Perhaps we can't this turn, actually. You can't outside the city either. I wish you could. So we'll be waiting for that. In the interim, we will be, of course, bombarding any Danish unit we can outside of the radius, outside of the city attack zone. So basically anything that's safe to attack, like these workers, they give us experience. So we will, of course, be attacking them. Right, so now we will be sending some ships just to surround Addis Ababa and get ready to attack the Greek units. And what else can we do here? When I have enough money, I'm going to start buying out some factories, starting with Edern. I could buy a pagoda there, cool. I mean, really, religion's pretty much useless at this point anyways. Let's get a factory. It costs 1430. We have only access to 814 gold, so it'll take about 2 or 3 turns. That's fine. We can wait. Getting back to the action, we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Of course, our Great Admiral needs to be on top of one of our units. Very, very good. And I think next turn Greece might actually capture one of the Danish cities. Maybe not. Doesn't seem like they were able to. Good news. We were able to steal technology. And we've stolen archaeology, which is super, super good. Of course, we have no interest in these antiquity sites, unless, of course, they are in our own territory. So, with that being said, where did that trade ship go that belonged to Denmark? Is it up here? Did he switch ports? I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is that we might be able to take Harrar this turn, assuming my frigates can be in range. Doesn't look like they can, most unfortunately. But Alexander doesn't have very much in the way of melee naval units, so I might actually have a chance. Of course, we will be able to take a privateer if we are lucky this turn. We're going to go and try. I don't want to destroy the unit, though, of course. So that unit's strong. This unit's strong as well. We were not able to take a privateer. Surprise, surprise. And I'm actually not surprised at all, if my sarcasm was not completely self-evident. We're going to be sending this unit to the east. It's basically healed. Any units that are close enough to heal as well, we will be sending into Hanoi. We got a new military unit. I don't really remember what exactly it was. Perhaps they gifted it to our capital. Let's take a look. No, we should have a pikeman. What melee unit could they? They gifted us a Gatling gun, it seems, which we will send to Konya. And outside of the Danish control zone, there's nothing really we can attack besides Kaupang itself, so we're going to be just chilling off the coast over here. We can also send most of our frigates over here into the northeast outside of Harrar. I know one of these has a ranged promotion. I'm not sure exactly which one. It's this one right here. So I think we can actually hit Harrar this turn. We can. It's a question of whether or not we should. Because if we can, it doesn't necessarily mean we should. But if we have the range promotion, that also means we could probably hit Addis Ababa. We'll do that next turn. Of course, regrouping with our naval, our fleet, which is important. And also sending more ships able to reinforce Harrar if necessary. So now we're going to be sending some ships back over to the front. Past Hawaii, past Polynesia. And we're going to go ahead and end our turn outside of Copenhagen. You know, actually, okay, it was out of range. I was going to say maybe we might have a chance of taking Harrar this turn, but we don't, so that's fine, not a big deal. Still 7 turns away from a factory in Istanbul. I'm aiming to get the first ideology if I can. I'm not sure if I should take fascism or freedom. I haven't quite decided yet. So if you guys have a recommendation, please let me know in the comments below. Open borders with Poland, not exactly a good idea. Embassy, not exactly a good idea. What? Okay, so Ethiopia has been liberated, which is a strange development. We're going to be moving our spy on Tonga over to one of our city-states that we want to curry favor with. Perhaps, let's see what we don't have access to. We don't have access to... let's take a look at what you have. You have access to Wales. Do we have Wales? We do. You have access to Wales. We don't need Wales. What city-state could we curry favor with that we could use? That would be a helpful thing. Perhaps Malacca up here. They have access to silk. And do we have access to silk? We do not. So we're going to actually be sending our spy over to Malacca. I think it's, yeah, it's Malacca, right? So move you over to Malacca here in just a second. Which will also be good because when we open a front with Indonesia, they'll be distracted with Malacca, so that's a good thing. So Ethiopia is now independent, which is definitely a wild card situation. I was not expecting Greece to actually liberate anybody, because Greece is so expansionist. Sending, of course, our caravels to the south and southeast. We will be healing all of our damaged caravels as well. Well, most of them, not all of them. And sending our naval units over there to the east, outside of Denmark. We have a new cargo ship. Let's see, or rather an old cargo ship. We were trading with Greece previously. We're not going to be trading with Greece anymore because we signed a deal with Honolulu where we're going to be going to war with them. So let's send it instead to either Carthage or Poland is actually a pretty good choice. We're going to send it to Poland. That's fine. Are we trading with Greece outside of that? It doesn't look like we are, so that's good. Of course, I'm preparing for war with Greece. I'll be moving some units to defend Bursa. So we're going to need at least one caravel to defend Bursa. We're going to send them over there. That's good. Meanwhile, Denmark we are still at war with, so we're just going to be wreaking havoc here, doing as much as we can. Perhaps they will accept peace. Let's see. Nope. Okay, they don't want peace from us, so that's fine. Maybe if we attack Addis Ababa, they will decide to change their mind. Or perhaps Kopang. I think Kopang would probably be a better choice. Let's go ahead and send out our frigates so we can prepare for war. Of course, leaving Addis Ababa with just one caravel to keep an eye on the unit production there. While we move most of our units down here, outside of Kopang. Is this the one that has range? It's not. This one, I believe, has the range, where we can outrange Kopang city defenses, which is super, super cool. We're going to continuously do that until we strike, until we make a move on them. And I believe that settles things there. Of course, now we can make a factory, and we're going to make a factory over here. Oh, sorry, we need one more turn to do that. And we're almost done with the World's Fair, which is good. We can finally focus on more useful things. I just wanted to be the leader, so that's why I've been focusing on it for so long. Right, so with that being said, we're going to end our turn once again. And the time for war against Haile Selassie has come. That's weird, considering Haile Selassie was out of the conflict. You know, that's fine. We don't want to piss off Carthage. So we will opt to go to war. That's totally fine. I don't want to be viewed as a warmonger, though. You're warmongering. You have made a declaration of friendship. They covet lands you currently own. Blah, 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 blah. Perhaps we can become better friends with Polynesia. Perhaps the defensive pact. There's no way to make that work. Okay, well, maybe if I gave you, like, some money. Alright, you know what? Fuck you, dude. You obviously are just going to turn on me. So we don't even care about you. We're going to instead focus on Harrar and beat the shit out of Harrar before focusing on Kopang. Of course, keeping this frigate that can outrange the city of Kopang in a safe position, which is good. While also bombarding Harrar. with frigates, which is also good. Very soon we'll be able to attack the city and take it for ourselves. I think we're just going to straight up puppet it. It's in a good position for us. So we will be doing that. Of course, it is the capital of Ethiopia. I don't want to incur such a large diplomatic warmongering penalty, but you know what, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. We can afford to take the hit, and we will, so that's fine. So right now we're moving more of our units into the theater of war, which is super, super good. This unit, I guess we will send over there just so we can heal it up. It's fine. More frigates. Do we need them in Harrar? I don't think we really do, but maybe one more couldn't hurt. So we're gonna send them over there. That's fine. And now we're just gonna be healing up our naval units, and perhaps developing some of this land, which would be a very good thing. Keeping our worker there, of course, that's fine. And ending our turn once again. Of course, we are almost at, well, I say we're almost at a golden age. We're getting closer to a golden age. So that's super, super good. And we can afford a factory now, so we will build one any turn. 94% into the World's Fair. I believe it should proc next turn, if we're lucky. Of course, Harrar is bombarding my ships, but that is to be expected. We'll be working over on something over there. And now it's time for us to bombard the ever-living shit out of Harrar. Which shouldn't be too hard, actually. Give us our ships some experience here. Quite a bit of experience, too, I hope. They never really stood a chance, it seems. As they've been... I guess we could create a puppet, that's fine. Cool, cool, cool. Of course, that didn't really change too much in the grand scheme of things. Ethiopia is still at war with us, which is kind of cute, considering they only have one missionary, which we will promptly destroy. I should have kept that caravel over here. We need at least one caravel to keep our eye on Addis Ababa. Of course, my alarm is going off, so I will have to end the episode relatively soon here. Sending this caravel past Kiev to make sure that there is no more naval units that might get swept up into our empire. And of course, in this episode, we were not able to gain any naval units, but that's okay. We still have naval supremacy, all things considered. Can we potentially pillage this trade node? We can't, or at least we can't up until this point. And we might actually be able to make a move now on the capital of Copenhagen. Assuming they do not want peace with us, we will do what is necessary and continuously bombard the crap out of Kopang. That's so much fun. I love the ranged promotion. It's probably one of the best promotions in the game for what I need to be doing here. This caravel, oh yeah, we were sending it over to Bursa. That's fine. And this one is going over to Istanbul, where we will work on some bananas. We're going to end our turn, and this will be the last turn for this episode. Why are you denouncing me? I was going to go to war with you. Like, that's... Okay. Alright. So now everybody's going to be denouncing me. Okay, so everybody hates me now because I took one city. But when everybody else takes other cities, you know, nobody cares. It's just when I take cities, suddenly the entire world gives a hissy fit. So we got culture increase for 100% for 20 turns. That's pretty good. It's not bad. We'll take it. And we got a free culture policy. I think we actually get everything. So let's save our culture policy for when we get an ideology. I think that's probably the best idea. Or maybe we should go with the treasure fleets. I don't really know. We're almost at the point where we're going to get our ideology. So at this point, I think we can just right-click that. Oh, no, I have to choose a social policy. Okay, well, that's just lame. We're going to go with, treasure fleets. That's fine. It's a little bit more money, which is a good thing. And we will also heal, of course, our damaged units over here in Harrar. What else can we do this turn? So we want to make a factory in pretty much all our cities, but we also need banks too, so we're going to be working on that. And public schools are also going to be super, super important. I will be making a factory in Ankara as soon as I can afford one. Another cargo ship. Who is not denouncing us? Still Carthage. I guess we're just going to trade with Carthage now, considering they are the only ones that do not hate our guts at this point in time. We would make the most money trading with Carthage itself, so we shall. It's fine. And we will continuously bombard Kopang, as is the usual plan here. Will Denmark accept peace with us? No, they won't. Of course they won't. So we will be ready to destroy them and wipe them off the face of the world. Of course, preparing ourselves for the inevitable conflict with Greece as well, which will happen very, very soon. And keeping an eye out for Addis Ababa. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the demographics before I close out of this episode. We are leading in literacy, land, GNP, and manufactured goods. Second in crop yield. Third in population. And we're doing a pretty good job. Of course, for soldiers, Greece isn't the lead there, but that's okay. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next episode.